Oftentimes, when people encounter symptomatic bradycardia, the first thing they think to try is atropine, and this is because it's actually recommended in the ACLS guidelines. One thing that I notice is a nuance that often gets lost, though, is trying to figure out the actual reason for the bradycardia. And this matters because atropine can help some types of bradycardia, but it actually makes some types of bradycardia worse. So I wanted to give an example of how it can actually make things worse and make a short video about that. So imagine you have a patient and they have sinus bradycardia at a heart rate of 40. I have this diagram here, and what I'm showing you is that first you get a P wave during atrial activation, and then the impulse works its way through the His-Purkinje system, which may be diseased and may have a long refractory period until it can depolarize again, but makes it through and gives way to the QRS complex, and you get a normal heartbeat. Then the next beat comes along, and you get the same thing. You get a sinus P wave, you activate the His-Purkinje system, which has a long refractory period, but it seems to be working okay at this sinus heart rate of 40. And you see this patient and you think, well, you know what? I really don't like that they have a sinus heart rate of 40. I think that this could be contributing to some hemodynamic instability. So I'm going to go ahead and give this person some atropine. You do that and you raise the sinus rate a little bit. Let's say it's 50. That's probably not accurate. It probably would go much higher than that, but either way, this will illustrate the point. So now we have that same patient. They have the same refractory period in their His-Purkinje system, but now the sinus heart rate is a lot faster. So you get your P wave, works its way through the His-Purkinje system, you get your QRS complex, but the next P wave comes before the His-Purkinje system got through its refractory period. So it's hitting a refractory His-Purkinje system. It can't conduct through that. It's going to go ahead and block. Things continue onward, and by the time the next sinus beat arrives, again, the His-Purkinje system has recovered, but the next one's going to come, and it's going to encounter refractoriness, and it's going to block. And so in this circumstance, even though the atropine was able to increase the sinus heart rate from 40 to 50, you actually paradoxically worsened the ventricular rate. And the ventricular rate is now half of that. It's actually 25. This is why it's important when you're giving atropine to consider what you're treating. If you're treating sinus bradycardia or junctional bradycardia or something at or above the level of the AV node, atropine may well be helpful. But if you're treating something that's below the level of the node, you really need to think about pacing either transcutaneously or transvenously, or giving a vasoactive agent like dopamine or isoproterenol or dobutamine. Thanks for listening. Hope this was helpful.